Welcome back, everybody. I'm your humble host, Picaso. Thanks for joining in. Today is Inspirational Sunday, episode 7, season 3. We are continuing reading from where we left off. Today, we are reading from Genesis chapter 19, titled The Evil City of Sodom. Hope you guys are enjoying this little series here. I have been doing it for many years now. I've slacked off and I've come back and I've slacked off, but we're here to stay. The series isn't going anywhere. Even for that one person out there who enjoys these episodes, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I hope that just to help inspire, to bless, to teach, and of course we are here learning with you as well, because we don't know everything. I don't know everything. So the whole purpose of this series is to really learn what the Word of God says. That's what it really is. Unlearn everything that we have learned before in the past and learn for ourselves directly from the Word. Okay, just a little clarification. I am reading from the Contemporary English Version. Feel free to compare with the King James Version or any other version that you prefer to read from. Listen to the sound of my voice or read along with us. Let's dive into chapter 19 of Genesis, the evil city of Sodom. Verse 1. That evening, while Lot was sitting near the city gates, the two angels arrived in Sodom. When Lot saw them, he got up, bowed down low, and said, "Gentlemen, I am your servant. Please come to my home. You can wash your feet, spend the night, and be on your way in the morning." They told him, "No. We'll spend the night in the city square." But Lot kept insisting until they finally agreed and went home with him. He quickly baked some bread, cooked a meal, and they ate. Before Lot and his guests could go to bed, every man in Sodom, young and old, came and stood outside his house and started shouting, "Where are your visitors?" Lost my place. Here we go. Where are your visitors? Send them out so we can do things with them. I have kids here, so anytime it differs a little bit from the word, I'm just kind of, for young children, you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. But the word's there, you see. But yes, so we can do things with them. Lot went out and shut the door behind him. Then he said, "Friends, please don't do such a terrible thing. I have 2 daughters who have never had anything done to them. I'll bring them out and you can do what you want with them, but don't harm these men. They are guests in my home." "Don't get in our way," the crowd said. "You're a foreigner. What right do you have to order us around? We'll do worse things to you than we're going to do to them." The crowd kept arguing with Lot. Finally, they rushed toward the door to break it down, but the 2 angels in the house reached out and pulled Lot safely inside. Then they struck blind everyone in the crowd, and none of them could even find the door. I'm telling you, man, the power of God. Gotta love it. The 2 angels said to Lot, "The Lord has heard many terrible things about the people of Sodom, and he has sent us here to destroy the city. Take your family and leave. Take every relative you have in the city, as well as the men your daughters are going to marry." Lot went to the men who were engaged to his daughters and said, "Hurry up and get out of here. The Lord is going to destroy the city." But they thought he was joking, and they laughed at him. Early the next morning, the 2 angels tried to make Lot hurry and leave. They said, "Take your wife and your 2 daughters and get away from here as fast as you can. If you don't, every one of you will be killed when the Lord destroys the city." At first, Lot just stood there. Why? Why? Okay. But the Lord wanted to save him, So the angels took Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters by the hand and led them out of the city. Interesting. I didn't know that part before. He stood there and they actually had to hold their hands and lead them out. Interesting. That is an important detail.
They didn't want to leave.
You know, I know, because initially it's just, they didn't want to leave, but from what I learned, Lot, like, they were gone. They were doing it. They didn't hesitate, but the wife was the one who was hesitating. But here it says the Lot just stood there. That's an important detail. But the Lord wanted to save him, so the angels took Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters by the hand and led them out of the city. So sometimes we're just even too stubborn for our own good. God's literally just got to jump in there and take you out himself. When they were outside, one of the angels said, "Run for your holy." Okay, it might be a little different in the King James version, but I mean, it's straight to the point though. One of the angels said, "Run for your lives. Don't even look back. And don't stop in the valley. Run to the hills where you'll be safe." That means when God's going to destroy something, you better get out of town. I'm going to highlight that right there. I'm going to highlight that. Because you got to make sure you are in a clear distance from something God's going to tear down, man. Because it's like a nuke. The nuke drops, but it has a blast radius where they might not get the full blast, but they're still getting, knocked back. So don't even stop in the valley. Run to the hills where you'll be safe. Get to high ground. Verse 18. Lot answered, "You have done us a great favor, sir. You have saved our lives, but please don't make us go to the hills. That's too far away." You just can't listen, huh? Sometimes,
and people are like that in real life. They don't want to move. They want to stay in their same.
They want to stay too.
They want to stay. They don't want to. And
they don't want to move too far from their comfort zone. Better places when you come out, when you go out.
But
they're too. They're just.
Change. People don't like.
It's like people in Toronto. No offense if you live in Toronto and you're watching this, but like, there's nothing special about Toronto. I know the media and the news always show it, like, oh, Toronto, the best city and blah, blah, blah. No, Toronto's garbage, okay? Sorry again if you live in Toronto. I lived many years in Toronto, so I know what I'm talking about. But, okay, so I won't say garbage. Okay, that's a whole nother topic, but it's just like that. I know people right now that live in Toronto that will never leave Toronto because they think Toronto's the best, but they don't know all the opportunities, like you were saying, Tin, that are further out. Exactly. You got to come out of your comfort zone. So much more opportunities, better living, better cost of living, everything.
That's the thing.
It's just better.
Too, because you're living in the city, you're struggling to pay your bill.
Yeah.
You can leave the city and go 30 minutes out, 20 minutes out, 5 minutes out, and save money on everything.
It's true.
On cost of living. But they would rather struggle and stay bound into that city
because they think that's what it's all about.
For what you paid for.
It's ridiculous, man. Because right here, please don't let us go too far. To the hills.
Let's just go next door to the next city.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Next door.
But they might still be in the blast radius. That's what they're not realizing.
Because they don't really want to leave.
No, they don't. It's still just being stuck there.
And again, God is saving them because of Abraham.
Yes, so he's very lucky. I wouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't have been like, don't make it. I'd be like, okay, yes, sir. Whatever you say. What? First of all, you're talking to an angel, okay? And he
angel comes just to save you.
Just to save you. Don't talk. Just do what he said. I'm straight. Go to the hills. You know what? I'm going to go past the hills. Just a little bit, okay? All right. Verse 18 again. Lot answered, "You have done us a great favor, sir. You have saved our lives, but please don't make us go to the hills. That's too far away. The city will be destroyed before we can get there, and we will be killed when it happens." Okay, there's a little bit of sense there. That's why it's not good to just cut off before getting the full context, but we're still on point, though, with what we were saying. Because in their hearts, they still didn't want to leave. Yeah, they still, because they didn't want to leave. Verse 20, "There's a town near here. It's only a small place, but my family and I will be safe if you let us go there." "All right, go there," he answered. "I won't destroy that town. Hurry, run. I can't do anything until you are safely there. The town was later called Zoar because Lot had said it was small. Okay, all right. Sodom and Gomorrah are destroyed. Verse 23. The sun was coming up as Lot reached the town of Zoar, and the Lord sent burning sulfur down like rain on Sodom and Gomorrah. He destroyed those cities and everyone who lived in them, as well as their land and the trees and grass that grew there. On the way, Lot's wife looked back and was turned into a block of salt. She's salt. You just gotta let go. When you're leaving something, you gotta let go. You can't, it's hard. It's hard for us though. Me personally, there's a lot of stuff that I've let go that wasn't easy to let go. It's hard. It's hard to not look back, so I get it.
And let go in your heart too.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't just mean just stop doing something. Yeah. To really let it go. It's one of the hardest things that a human being can do, I believe, in my opinion. I think in the King James Version, it says she was turned into a pillar of salt. Pillar, a pillar of salt. But in this one, it says block of salt. Pretty much the same thing. Verse 27, that same morning, Abraham got up and went to the place where he had stood and spoken with the Lord. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah and saw smoke rising from all over the land. It was like a flaming furnace. God don't play when he's making moves, When God destroyed the cities of the valley where Lot lived, he remembered his promise to Abraham and saved Lot from the terrible destruction. He don't forget. He doesn't forget. And sometimes because you're saved because of somebody else.
Yeah.
You never know.
And an encouragement to everyone today is that it doesn't matter how long it takes. God has not forgotten the promise he's made to you. If he promises that he has never left nor forsaken you, he will not leave or forsaken you. It doesn't matter what time looks like because God does not operate in what we define as time. A day to us is like unto 1,000 years to him, and 1,000 years to him is like
nothing.
That's it.
It's nothing.
A day to him is like 1,000 years to us. So
yeah.
Let us be reminded that the promise he made to even our ancestors or
it still holds. It still holds.
Amen.
Yeah.
He means every word. He's not like a man he should lie.
It still holds, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue. Verse 30. Moab and Ammon. Lot was afraid to stay in Zoar, so he took his 2 daughters and moved to a cave in the hill country. One day, his older daughter said to her sister, "Our father is old, and there are no men anywhere for us to marry. Let us get our father unsober. Then we can have a way with him and have children." That night, they got their father unsober, and the older daughter got in with him, but he was too unsober even to know that she was there. Wow, that's beyond drunk. To not even know that somebody's there? Wow. The next day, the older daughter said to her sister, "I was with father last night. We'll get him drunk again tonight so you can lay with father, or can lay with him, and we can each have a child." That night, they got their father drunk, and this time the younger sister laid with him. But once again, he was too drunk even to know she was there. I can't even imagine that. I put down drinking a long time ago. I used to, because I've never liked how it felt to be drunk. But to be, like, I can't even imagine that. To that.
People do that.
What? No. I put it down a long time ago. Drinking is not cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. Especially if you drink to get drunk. I'm not going to get into that, but, me personally, if you have like a one little sip or something here and there, but the people, when you do it and you can't stop, and then you're getting drunk and you're passing out, you're walking and you're falling, don't drink. Don't drink. It's not necessary, man. Drink some soda, drink some tea, drink some water, Nothing beats water. Water. I don't drink juice often, maybe like once a month or something like that. Water. Nothing beats a cold glass of ice cold water. Nothing. It's the best thing. It's the best. 36. That's how Lot's two daughters had children. The older daughter named her son Moab, and he is the ancestor of the Moabites. Okay, I mean, I knew that, but interesting. Something just clicked in my head. 38, the younger daughter named her son Benami, and he is the ancestor of the Ammonites. Okay, all right.
I want to say this,
and
I talked about this when we did our own study. The importance of being, the importance of being honest with our children. Not everything we should keep from our kids.
Right.
The Lot knows that Sodom and Gomorrah burned. There was no indication before that instance where the angels came that we knew that Lot had his daughters. So we don't know if he had his daughters when he was with Abraham walking along, right? Together. It is important to be honest with our children and tell our children things in life. Maybe these girls believed that there was nobody else. There was nobody else. Everywhere burned.
That's it. Because maybe they grew up in Sodom. So they know that that's where people are. They don't know that nowhere else was people. Right. They don't even know about Abraham and that stuff.
And I believe that had he been transparent with his children and let them know, listen, Sodom and Gomorrah's burned, but there is, Canaan where Abraham is, and Abraham has all these,
a bunch of servants and all these things.
Other places with people,
because even, they were at Zoar. Right. There was people there too.
But remember, they weren't supposed to be with certain
people. They weren't supposed to mix really.
But had he, literally been transparent with them and let them know this is. I have an uncle. He has. He has
relatives.
People,
he has.
Maybe go and see him. And somebody.
He didn't say anything to them. He just locked them up in the cave.
What they said to themselves, "Well, are we gonna die?"
Because they're thinking of their father's name living. That's what they're really thinking of. So. You gotta. You gotta.
That there's so many. People, of older generation where they keep a lot of things from their kids.
Oh yeah.
A lot of families, you don't know about.
You don't tell them certain stuff.
A lot of things you don't know. A lot of medical history or whatever it is, you don't know. And certain information, if someone just knows that information,
it helps a lot of ways. It actually it would either keep you from going down this path, or it would allow you to go down this path, which would be good and save you from that. It's true. You got to let them know.
So the importance of, really being transparent with our kids,
because Lot was not, of course, because they're kids, But something in this nature, they're obviously of age because they were going to get married, right? So you could have been like, hey, don't worry about it. Maybe at some point next year or next month, we'll go visit my uncle. He has plenty manservants over there, and they're good people, God worshipping people and stuff like that. Yeah, you'll find a husband over there. But he didn't say nothing. He just went into the cave.
No, and you realize that even in the cave, when they went to the cave or when they went to Zoar, they never saw the Lord.
Yeah, I don't really. It says Abraham went to the Lord this, or this went to the Lord that. Lot's not going to God for anything, really.
What do we do next? What is it?
He didn't add. He said they were going to go to Zoar. They went, but he didn't pray to God and say, "Hey, we don't want to stay here. What should we do?" He didn't ask anything. He just went to the cave in hill country, man.
Right. And that was it.
That's it. Then they just, when you're not moving according to the Lord, you start moving according to yourself, and we don't know anything.
Our minds are not the ways of
the Lord. It's better to ask and hear for that, because the daughters were afraid, so they just took it into their own hands.
That's it. And we do a lot of bad things to ourselves.
Oh, we do. With good intentions most of the time.
When we follow our mind and say, "Oh, you know what?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, but a lot of the things that come to our mind is impulse thinking.
And again, most of the time, it is good intentions. It is good intention. It's not the right thing.
It's what we think at the moment.
Yeah, but that's
sense,
remember, it says we do what we think is right. If you don't have the Lord, if you don't consult the Lord, you do what you think is right. I want to say 90% of the time, it's not right. That's the thing.
I would say 100%.
I'll say 90. I'll say 90 because again, God gave us intelligence.
He did,
okay, so yes, of course, but I'm still saying 90. At least 10%. The smart humans, okay, which I include myself in, okay, 10% of the time we can make a right decision. Yeah, we can make a right decision. Of course, 100%. We should always rely on God and what He says and His teachings and His guidance. Excuse me.
Remember, He is the lamp unto our feet and the light unto our path.
100%.
We cannot do anything without the Lord. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times we believe, you know, our good intentions is right. We do believe that we know what we're doing, we know what we're thinking, but God is traveling from our end to our beginning. He knows.
Oh yeah, end to beginning back to end, all type of.
So He knows everything that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the repercussions of this. There's always an action. You know, a reaction to our action.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know. It's just good to seek Him because He's not going to lead us astray.
No, never.
So I believe that Lot really should have told his daughters, sat down with his daughters, let them know, you know, certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are this wouldn't have happened.
Because they thought they were just going to die in that cave. That's what they thought. Right. But yeah. Okay, guys, that's going to bring today's episode to an end. Hope you are enjoying, as always. I know I'm enjoying. I know the family here is enjoying. It's just fun to read, to learn. You know, there's nothing wrong with learning. Again, this video is not just for anybody who considers himself a Christian. This video is for everybody. Maybe you follow another religion, but you're curious. You don't know much about Christianity, about the Bible. That's what this video is for. We're learning together. We're teaching. We're being taught, right? The Word is teaching us. And, you know, there's always a little bit of entertainment here and there as well, which is the motto of the channel. We learn, teach, and entertain. So, again, read along, listen to our voice, join in. Again, not just for Christians, not just for followers of Christ. This is for everybody and anybody who's interested in learning what the Bible actually says for themselves, not based on what somebody's yelling at you from a pulpit or trying to stuff down your throat with a pamphlet or something like that. No. Sit down, we read, we have a conversation, we learn, we ask questions, we answer questions, we find it. You know, and there's nothing wrong with being educated in the Word. Definitely nothing wrong. And hope you guys enjoyed. As always, I'm your humble Picasso. I'll see you in the next one. Stay blessed. Peace.